Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM22. It's Classics Puncher, and this is episode 29. We're at Amstel Gold, and it's an objective to be in the break, of which we have made it into. It is for the later kilometers, so we're not collecting credit just yet, but you would think before too long we'll start collecting that credit. I do have a -1 on the race day condition, but the downhill is the only thing that has been impacted. Crazy weather, it's pouring down rain. We've had a number of crashes, 3 or 4 within the team already. Latour has crashed twice at this stage. Being the break definitely helps. You're not caught in the pack, you're less likely to have a bunch of crashes, but you never know. We did have a minute more worth of a lead than what we have right now, so the field is already speeding up and starting to pull us back. It looks like we are just starting to raise our bar a little bit to try to stay away from these guys as well as I go and collect water for the first time. 170 kilometers left to go. It's a long ways to go yet. There's a lot of undulation here at Amstel Gold. The mountain raiding part's going to hurt. There's another crash. Grelier goes down. And yes, we're definitely starting to speed things up a bit. Now, I was the first one to establish position away from the field. And I rode fairly hard to establish that. And then these guys rode hard to catch up to me. And that's where we eventually established it. After the first couple attempts failed, I was with one of those attempts. So there is a little bit of extra wear and tear, plus the length of the race is going to play into that stamina a little bit. Today I do have that baseline, that 78, and we are starting to get credit, so there you go, 25%. The overall objective beyond the breakaway part is top 50, so trying to hang on for a top 50. A 5-minute advantage is a great way to potentially hang on to that, as long as I don't totally blow up while in the breakaway here. Certainly have the punchiness capability to do so. I have that flat rating. I have the stamina good enough to do so. It's just going to come down, and of course the sprint part to beat out, a group at the end. I just have to maintain my effort level. And unlike all of my teammates, is Reichenbach the latest to go down? Of all of my teammates, I'm the first one, obviously, but for obvious reasons anyway, but I'm the first one to already start depreciating my maximum values as we've gone deeper and pushed harder than anybody else, and I am contributing, but you can see that effort level getting higher and higher here as that gap is now down inside 4 minutes. Still a healthy gap as we are now more than halfway through. Starting to contribute a little bit less, thinking about my first goal was to be in the break, and we've done that, and we're getting credit for that, but my secondary goal is to have that finish. So I'm a little less committed, especially the rate at which they are pulling us back. This gap's not looking that healthy, especially this wear and tear piece. I'm already looking a little haggard with 100 kilometers to go. Not wanting to push too deep on that undulation part. I think that's where it's hurting me, that mountain 65. That hill after hill after hill is starting to take its toll. We'll go to 72 now. I haven't gotten off the back a whole lot with this effort level. There you go. Objective has been met, at least number 1. We still have the exceptional value, and at 85, that's a little over 22k, something like that on top that we have to stay out here for. Much less worried about that than that top 50 finish, because the top 50 finish is easy to exceed and get that maximum points, except unless you're looking like this. Now the good news for me is everybody else on the team is feeling it. Reichenbach way off back. He never got back on after that latest crash, and there's only there's 7 groups, so the peloton is shrinking. Peloton is definitely shrinking, and we're down to now a minute and a half on our advantage over the field, and I am down to looking pretty beat up here. 60k to go. Let's get water that final time. I'm nervous about the effort here. We've dropped somebody from this group, and now we've got guys that don't want to contribute anymore. The whole group's tired. The whole group is tired. We're going to be caught by the peloton quite soon, and we are. We have been caught by the peloton or not. That was a couple of attacking riders. I'm just going to go ahead and sit up, though. I'm in a group of 10 here. Group of 11. These are your late classics riders, Barradour types, you know, going for the attack. Gosh, was that a healthy advantage? No, it wasn't. That was a temporary confusion of positions. 41k still to go, and I'm not sure I'm going to be around for the ending on this. When with 150 riders, I'm going to have to beat 2/3 of these guys. But looking at my teammates, a lot of them aren't going to make it either. But Ferron and Villarmos and Latour, they're fine. That's one of the last harder climbs along the rest of the way, but without much of a chance to recover. I just don't think I'm going to get the position. Not looking good. For now, I'll accept the fade, try to recover, and hope that I'm still around in 15-20k. Okay, we're right to the back.
Attack by Maduras.
That did it. That did it. You know, we had just that little bit left of the tank, and we had to save something. Had to save something to have a chance. And that did us in. So now we're recovering a little bit, but it's much too late for a top 50. So we'll move on to the next one. At least we do get the XP for being in the break today. We did what the team asked. $14K. I think I can maybe here at the right point, right time, towards the end here. Get forward a little bit. There you go. 11K to go. Might as well just finish it off at this point. 10K. 5K behind the leaders. So that's how far we've dropped back already. Rodriguez is here, leading this group towards Grelier. 6.5K to go. Mohoric has claimed victory in this one. Oh gosh, that drained me that fast. That's how weak I am. That is how weak I am. Even without the heart rate up, I dropped down to nothing in a split second. Yep, 90th. Could not crack the top 50. I mean, we weren't that terribly far off from what would have been a top 50, but Mohoric, Van Sevenant, Bardet, Pogacar, Vanderpool. Vanderpool. For those who didn't hear, Vanderpool was just arrested right on the eve of the World Championships, and I could see both sides to this story. So, hotel room, late night, middle of the night before the World Championships. 2 teenage girls banging on his door, as the news report says. And he opens the door, tells them to go away, and they're, I don't know. I don't know what they were doing, but they were giving him a hard time. If they knew who he was and they were fans, or they were fans of somebody else, or if it was just a total case of two teenage girls who were under influence, or just 2 teenage girls that were being 2 teenage girls trying to get into trouble because they were on vacation and my oh my, it's exciting. Whatever their reasons, motivations behind banging away on his door in the middle of the night, from his perspective, you go and go, he's probably really, really pissed off that they are disturbing his sleep when he's got the World Championships in the morning. Tells them to go away, they don't, and so he shoves them to try to close the door and go to sleep. In shoving them, he knocks one over and one slams into the wall. Minor injury, nothing major, but he got arrested. As a result, got home at 4 in the morning after being released on bail. Served court this morning at the time of recording, and pleaded guilty to a minor assault charge. I see both sides of that story. You shouldn't be shoving anyone, let alone teenagers. But at the same time, it sounds like they were a bit in the wrong too, banging away on his door, and there's two sides to that story for sure. But I'm curious to hear his side, because all we have is the police news release at this stage. He withdrew early in the race. He actually did show up and participate, but I'm guessing he withdrew because he wasn't feeling it. Right now it seems hard for me to remember, but we really are just starting our World Tour career. These are our first appearances at World Tour level. And so we're getting a bunch of bonus XP, which is really helpful because we don't get a lot otherwise. That was my first World Tour race in which I was in the breakaway, and we got all the way up to over 150 kilometers, and you could see that massive haul of 140 points, which was enough to level up. Mediocre evaluation on the stage, so still comes with a little something, plus the breakaway worth 14 more, and that puts us from a level below to halfway through the next level. This one's just a skill point though, and it's a skill point that needs to go into networking, as we've got to ensure that we do get that top contract as promised. Flèche Wallonne teammate assignment already complete, so we're on our own to get the best result we can get now. Of course, we expended a lot of extra energy to work at the front for nearly 40 kilometers, but we were able to do so relatively easily. We didn't have to spend that long up there. We were up there for maybe 55K to get our 38 kilometers in. So it didn't take us that long as we head into later stages. And so I'm still not quite hitting into my maximums, though I'm about to, with 61K to go. Much better state than we were in last race, for sure. In last race, while we could have used others, I opted not to at that point. We did our work, we did our thing, and at that point, I was letting everybody do their own thing. So here we are with a peloton that's already split. The yo-yo is behind us at the very least, and the 6-man breakaway, similar to what we just had on the last race, is still 2.5 minutes ahead, but it's coming down all the time, and the chasing groups have not regained contact, though of course the moment I say something, they do. But it splits again a moment later. This, of course, is our famed Mur de Huy, and all of my teammates were in the group off the back, so none of my teammates are up front right now in that front 40 to 50 riders. In fact, none of them are in the top 83 riders, as we have yo-yoed yet again. My problem in this race, though, even though I have a 0 on the race day condition, and I do come with a whole slew of +1s, my problem for this race is that mountain rating. The Mur de Huy in particular, there's some really steep climbs here, and hitting those as we go to hit the Mur de Huy here for the second time now of 3. It's so steep. It is so steep that my poor mountain rating, until the final time, my poor mountain rating is just going to take a huge hit. As you can see, I'm really struggling towards the back end of the group, just keeping contact. In fact, not keeping contact for the moment. I don't know how we lost contact, where the UAE riders were nowhere ahead of us, and yet somehow we, we're separated. 22k to go. I think now is time for me to get water for myself, as looks like my teammates are not coming back. We have regained contact with 50 kilometers to go, but you can see just how tired I am. Can we go arrow and, save some energy, get that heart rate down for a little bit? Nope. That did not do any good. 50 riders. At least we're aiming for a top 50 at this point, but you can see just how quickly the acceleration-wise took whatever I had left and left me behind. 35 off the front, 8 chasing. We are in the 8, and if we could hold this position, it's at least a top 50. I mean, that's something, right? Let's go ahead and gel now so we can get through the penultimate climb. And the gaps behind, you got 4 chasing and then 5, and there's definitely some gaps out there, so that's good, with only 2 climbs left to go. And literally all of my teammates behind. We regain contact with the front 43 as you have about a front 20, front 14 escaping, but I do not keep up over this climb, and that's leaving me a bit behind here, pushing, and oh gosh, huge group of 65. No, not good, not good. Okay, I do get a little bit of recovery here, and I'm very much at the front end of this, and now it's not 65, it's 26. I still have a tiny chance at a top 50 here. And we have 1k to go, 1k to go. Let's just go, I'm like standing still here. Standing still, it looks like. Jeez. Look how fast these guys are going away from me. Toynes has taken the win ahead of Godu, Schachman, Roglic, Adria, and out of energy. That Hills rating working for a moment there, but top 20 are long gone, and there's probably a lot more than 50 there. Yeah, fell out of the top 50 as a result. 60th. I was hoping to get a little something for getting a top 50, couple XP, but nope. Got the teammate assignment at least. There's that. All right, folks. Well, it's a short episode today. Quick background on some updates. I just made some major upgrades to my computer over the weekend. CPU and motherboard were the only things retained. And half of my current memory. I doubled my memory. I have a brand new graphics card, new case, new power. A lot has changed, and I got rid of my recording hardware, continuing to use my software without it, and updating those settings and making that all work was a big deal. And also for my face cam, instead of using my iPhone, I've purchased a DSLR, but I'm going to wait a day to put that in to work out the kinks on all of this first. And then there's still, I've got a new monitor on the way that isn't here yet, and so not quite done tweaking things just yet, but that's occupying a lot of time at the moment. So trying to get all that sorted out, get the audio. I've got to go in and test the game audio here because it's different value than what it was before. Blah 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 blah. I'm busy. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.